Hello, welcome to Critical Joke Theory with your host, G.D. Fenderson, Certified Forensic Humorist. Now with new joke technology. Hi, I'm G.D. Fenderson, Certified Forensic Humorist at large, but I'm losing weight. Welcome to Critical Joke Theory, episode 38. Now with new joke technology. An open caption for the humor impaired. The International Court of Justice, the ICJ, is holding public hearings in the case of South Africa versus Israel. South Africa is asking that Israel be charged with genocide before the ICJ and that Israel be ordered to cease their attack on Gaza. See how I did that, Google News? I said the International Court of Justice, and then I let people know that it was also known as ICJ. I didn't just say ICJ and assume that my audience knows what ICJ means. That's how we do it here at CJT. Now, with new joke technology and open caption for the humor impaired. FYI, there is still a warrant for the arrest of Vladimir Putin by the ICC, International Criminal Court, for stealing Ukrainian children. In case you forgot what Vladimir Putin looks like, here he is pictured looking for more children to steal. We can arrest him by putting in a little more effort. Closing arguments are over in the New York versus Trump civil suit. Judge Engoron, after stating that Trump was to be treated the same as everyone else and that Trump would not be allowed to offer his own closing arguments, Judge Engoron gives Trump special treatment and allowed Trump to give his own closing arguments. Trump offered an incoherent tirade which included more lies and alas, woe is poor, poor, pitiful me statements in a few minutes than a Fox town hall meeting. To think that Engoron could have called in sick and stayed home while his home was being swatted. Having to listen to Trump speak incoherently for 5 minutes or face a bunch of armed officers at your home. What would Sophie choose? Technically, Trump has already been found liable for fraud, and this portion of the trial was to determine the penalty. Trump is facing a $350 million fine, being banned from doing business in the state of New York for life, and his two eldest sons, Neglected and Coke Jr., could be banned from doing business in New York for up to 5 years. This decision is expected by the end of the month. Expect Trump to grift another few $1,000,000 from his most devoted followers at that time. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, seen here asking if you're going to finish that, has suspended his campaign to run for president in 2024. In Christie's speech that he made, he again warned the country about the threat that Donald Trump poses to the country. As to whether he will endorse another candidate, he'll cross that bridge if he hasn't closed it. A recent report by the New Yorker reveals that a young woman, Yenny Glick of Texas, could have lived if she were allowed to get an abortion. Glick's pregnancy was complicated by underlying health conditions. After Roe, Texas law SB 8 made it illegal for her to have her pregnancy terminated and perhaps save her life. Trump said, "You're welcome." Now, if only the stock market would crash. Trump, seen here just realizing what he said, has linked into his comments and legal theory that a president can sic SEAL Team 6 on a political rival and have him killed, and that would be legal. But Biden can't sic his Department of Justice on Trump to hold him accountable? Okay, Biden didn't sic the DOJ on Trump. That was Merrick Garland. Trump lives in an alternative reality where all of his problems were created by someone or anyone else. Trump wants to be able to snap his fingers to make it all go away. Trump wants to pretend he's Thanos. May I suggest to President Biden that he send in SEAL Team 6 and go for the head. The FAA, federal agency in charge of flying things, has found almost 7 door plugs so far that were not screwed in during inspections of the over 200 grounded Boeing 737 MAX 9s following an in-flight failure. After the plane safely landed, many relieved passengers were heard to say, "Ka-ching!" Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, seen here saying, "Oh, that prostate," has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. He's been treated and released without incident. I'm just fucking with you. He didn't tell anyone that he was being hospitalized for a week. He was so sick that he had to transfer his powers to Deputy Defense Secretary Kathleen Hicks. Speaking of Hicks, that reminds me, Representative Taylor Greene was called Congress's expert on porn during a recent congressional hearing. I love the fact that it's in the official congressional record. These comments were prompted by a surprise visit to Congress by Hunter Biden. Representative Nancy Mace called Hunter Biden the epitome of white privilege during a brief but fundraising-worthy moment during their session. Actually, Hunter is the epitome of second-class white privilege. The epitome of first-class white privilege would be her Republican colleagues who were served with subpoenas by Congress, ignore them, and now sit on the committee that wants to hold Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress for ignoring a congressional subpoena. Hunter Biden pled not guilty during his arraignment in a California federal court for charges of tax fraud. His trial is set for June 20th. His white privilege is set on pause. The U.S. has launched a coordinated missile strike with some of its allies against the Houthi targets based in Yemen. The Iranian-backed Houthis have been targeting commercial ships trying to disrupt commercial trade worldwide. The missile strikes are meant as a warning. Do not fuck with rich companies' constitutional rights to sell shit, or they will have their government send in poor people to fuck you up. Alabama football coach Nick Saban retires from coaching after 17 years. Saban has led the Crimson Tide to 7 national championships during his tenure. I don't know who will replace Saban, but I would bet that for the next few seasons, Alabama's winning ways will roll out with the tide. And finally, the Department of Health has issued warnings that we are collecting nanoplastics in our bodies due to the overuse of plastics when it comes to storing our food. Molecules of plastic mix with our food and drink, and once we ingest it, the plastics stay in our bodies. To avoid this slow poisoning, we should store our food and drink in glass and stainless steel containers. We can still use plastic for implants and sex toys because using steel and glass in your ass can make it hard to pass judgment on others from the ER. I'm G.D. Fenderson, certified forensic humorist. Thank you for watching Critical Joke Theory, now with new joke technology. Be safe out there, and don't beat the crazies. Critical Joke Theory with your host, G.D. Fenderson, certified forensic humorist. Now with new joke technology.